this how she name. When you turn it up, make it smooth, my darling. When outside is pouring rain, put a pot on the fire. Bubbling, it's over. Raise the temperature higher. Coming in closer. Make the thing catch a fire. It's all on the ground, all over the counter, yeah. With that pot on the fire, yeah. It's your cocotiella. Boy, when I'm feeling under the weather, you just make me feel sweet. Ice the cocoa tea, use the sugar, and together we are complete, darling.
99.9 WEFM. WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
You realize that on the mic already?
Kinda.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are back with you for another morning on Activate This Morning program. Already, we have on the line Mr. Peejohn and to give us his commentary. Peejohn, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning, ladies. I hope you're having a good day.
We are. What about you?
I'm good. I'll be very brief today. I saw a video on social media yesterday. I showed a group of people engaged in protest in the North Leeward area, down in the Richmond section to be exact. They appeared to be calling for an end to the quarry, which was recently established by the St. Lucian Company, Reno Quarries, I think it is. I was not aware that there was discontent over this issue in North Leeward within recent times. In the clip I saw, a few things struck me. The protesters were calling for end to the quarry works. They were calling for lands to be returned to the farmers of the area. While they claimed to be peacefully protesting, they appeared to be also threatening the quarry operators with what appeared to be could be interpreted as violence. In fact, I heard was to the effect, leave peacefully or leave in pieces. And interestingly enough, the leader of the opposition was in attendance. So I really want to know what is going on in North Leeward. I haven't heard any comments from anyone in office or any entity that might be related to what is going on down there. And I it's interesting, and I just want to know what is going on. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Peejohn, for your commentary today. I did not see the video, so
I haven't heard a single thing about that. It's news to me this morning. Yeah.
Yes. I think the organization that is leading the protest is called the North Leeward Heritage Preservation Front.
Okay.
So that is something we need to pay attention to. I would definitely hear more about it.
Okay.
Okay, all the best.
All right. See you too, so Peejohn. Thanks. All right. All right. So that was Peejohn there with his commentary. And well, first off, let's say good morning to everybody. Trust that you're having a good one so far. Yeah, still a little bit early in the morning, but hope that you're having a good one so far. For those of you making your way to school, to work, to Kingston, to conduct business, please get there safely, all right? And have a good, safe, and a productive one today. It's Friday, so some persons might be in a little bit of a more of an excited mood, but we also have to remember to be safe, all right? So, Dianna, good morning to you.
Good morning, Roleza. Good morning to everyone. I also want to join with Roleza and hoping that you're doing quite well this morning. And if not, as usual, that's why we're here. By the time we leave, you will be in greater spirits. If not, something will be very, very wrong.
Take it to the Lord in prayer.
Well, that's the next thing.
All right. So with regards to Peejohn's commentary, I didn't hear anything about that. How to approach this? I know that initially when the quarry persons, yes, Reno, when they came in, that I think a protest was staged initially, because I think lands were, I'm not sure if the persons who were working the lands were actually, if it's government lands, and they were handed over to Reno, or whatever the case might be. But in a situation where you have a community and a community that's also focused on, well, agriculture as well as tourism, and you have an entity that is doing quarrying, really and truly, you should listen to the views of the persons within the community, because after land has been raided, and raided in the context of the quarry operations that are happening, remember that these people are still going to have to live there. So there really and truly does need to be a bit of a balance. Yes, I know that sometimes persons would like to say that economics has to trump everything else, but there has to be a balance between wanting that economic gain, and is this economic gain for us here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? How much are we benefiting? And the offset to that is the destruction of the land in terms of what quarrying tends to do, as well as what it is that's going to remain after this particular entity has pulled out. So there has to be that balance. And if persons within the community are protesting at this time, they really and truly should be heard. And that's the most I can sit with until there's further information that comes out. So
yeah. And I don't have anything. I just want to, I have the same thing to say. You should definitely listen to the people, and that's it.
Yeah. All righty. So we are going to jump into our topics at this time. Just to note that at 8:05, we will be having an interview with students from the Georgetown Secondary School. They placed first in the CARICOM agriculture competition. Georgetown Secondary School, they placed first in that competition. So we're going to have an interview with the teachers and students from the Georgetown Secondary School at 8:05. So you want to stay tuned for that. Well, stay tuned for the whole morning, but listen out particularly for that. All right. Yeah, I think that's it for prelims. Oh, no, just one more thing for prelims before we get into something heavier. Please note that there is a weather advisory out. Let me find it quickly.
Yeah.
All right. So there is a...
I have it.
You have it? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So a small craft and high surf advisory is in effect for SVG and its coastal waters from yesterday, Thursday, the 23rd of January, from 12 noon until 6 p.m. on Sunday. All right. So let me repeat that. There's a small craft and high surf advisory in effect for SVG starting yesterday at 12, and it continues until Sunday at 6 p.m. Right. It just says, well, large waves and dangerous rip currents will create unsafe conditions for small craft operators, particularly on the northern and eastern coastlines. These conditions may become even more adverse at times of high tide. Therefore, only vessels capable of withstanding swells of those magnitudes should venture out, and the sea bathers are advised to stay out of the water.
All right, so we know that weekend is coming up. One of the places that many of us like to go is either to the beach or on the water, but let's be careful and take heed to that particular advisory, all right? And we read that one from St. Vincent Times, but there would also be a notice on the SVG Met Office meteorological page, all right? So you can also go there.
Would probably
and
put that out as well.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. All righty, so let's get into our topics for this morning. And we are looking at, so we spoke a little bit briefly on this situation. I think, I can't remember which day. The day is going so quickly, I can't remember which day, but sometime in the week, right? Of a situation where the youngster who appeared to be 10 years old, he threatened to, seemed as if he was trying to commit the act of robbery towards some Yachties who were anchored in, I think is in Chateaubriand area. All right. So from reading this from Searchlight newspaper, article titled Yachties Already Reporting Crimes in SVG Water in 2025. All right. So yachties who dock in waters in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they continue to report incidents of crimes being committed against them. So far, there have been 2 such reports for 2025. Mind you, we're still in January. All right. They're saying that, so coming out of it, the article, they're saying that for last year, even though the rates were down, we still had a relatively high number of incidents being reported. All right. So that is just something that we need to be mindful of, given that tourism is the sector. Is tourism a sector or industry? I think it's an industry. I gotta look it up. Okay, yeah. But it's one or the other. I think it's an industry, right? Tourism industry is what we are hoping to help to bring in money or bring in significant money here into the country. We have to pay special attention to these incidents, because we don't also want for persons to be leaving SVG with a negative stain. All right. So in key areas such as the Chateaubelair area, Wally Labu area, areas where you tend to find a lot of yachties docking, we have to be careful with what happens there. It's also lends to the community spirit as well. In this particular article, they've made mention of one person who was violent in terms of using threatening language towards individuals. And, it also takes the community to, if you see somebody within your community who is going to, let's say, approach a visitor, especially in an aggressive manner, it's for you to pull them back, all right? For you to speak to them, because you have to remember, as they always say, tourism is everybody's responsibility. All of us have to play our part. And in situations like this, we don't want for there to be a stain on our country.
Correct. It's really heartbreaking to read and hear these kinds of stories. But I don't know, man. I just feel like it's a lack of education at this point. When I look at some of the things that we do, I feel like if we get the truth on a lot of things and we get the proper education we're supposed to get, people would behave differently.
You mean understanding the spill-off effects that it could have?
Yeah, that's part of it, right? But because people know about jail. You have police officers. People know right from wrong, and people know the consequences of the actions, but they would still do it. So I don't know. There's this thing that,
but for those who know and they just ignore it, what it is that is affecting the rest of us. And I'm saying us in the context of the trickle-down effect, that tourism can bring to many of us. So we all have to look out, especially within these communities. We all have to look out for the troublesome persons, right? Look out for them. All right. So in another story, the RSVG maintains a zero tolerance on illegal firearms. And this is from the RSVG Police Force, their Facebook page. So on the 21st of January, acting on intelligence-led policing officers executed a search warrant at the residence of a 17-year-old minor, P.T. Bodell, as part of ongoing investigation into possession of illegal firearms and ammunition. During the search, officers discovered and seized the following prohibited items: 1 round of 9mm ammunition, 1 round of shotgun ammunition, 5 rounds of .38 ammunition, and 1 Webley Shermoody 12 gauge shotgun. I don't think I pronounced that correctly. That's why I dipped my voice. All right. So this individual the court imposed the following conditions. He's to appear. No. So the court imposed the following conditions: bail granted in sum of $15,000. The defendant must report to the Chateaubelair police station every Monday and Thursday between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. A curfew was imposed. Social inquiry report is due the 17th of February, and the case is adjourned to the 24th of February for sentencing. All right.
Well. I obviously very unfortunate that this young man was caught with all of what was listed there. But when I read through the things that they found, I had to ask myself, I wonder if this is his, or he was holding it for somebody, or did somebody, store it? That's one of the questions going through my mind. Because if it's a case where he was made to hold something for somebody, boy, you know in trouble for somebody else's thing, and now you have to pay for something that isn't yours, if that is the case, right?
Yeah. So police are acting on information, and they're carrying out because we've made a cry about so much gun-related crimes and taking so many guns out of the hands of persons who are not supposed to have them, etc., etc. All right. And finally, in another story, gun-related, Barbados AG says the island will not be held under siege. And I'm reading this from Times Caribbean. So the Attorney General Dale Marshall said that 2025 has begun with gunmen wreaking havoc in a densely populated community on Pine in the southeast portion of the island. He said, fortunately, that the injuries sustained have not been life-threatening, and what has obviously been threatened is the ability of residents to live peacefully in their homes and to be outdoors at night in the community, as is their right. We will not allow any community in Barbados to be held under siege, not under any circumstances. The police service is therefore determined that as an immediate response, the Pine areas will be saturated or will see saturated policing. All right, so we see that this situation of crime or gun-related activity, etc., it's not just
SVG alone,
not just isolated to SVG. Barbados had a record of 50 killings last year, and he says that what I'm saying to those persons who think they are strong enough and bold enough and brazen enough and brash enough to do these things, we are going to get you. We are going to get you. The Barbados Police Service is going to get you, and we are going to get you sooner rather than later. All right, so we see that in a nearby sister island, they too are having to put measures in place or take some measures or put more drastic measures in place to curtail these incidents of crime, all right, especially gun-related crime. So that is our time here in SVG. We are now going to head into today's traffic talk at this time.
Nothing else sounds as good as
WEFM.